Okay, I'm just going to get into YouTube here and make sure it's working too. Do you have it open on YouTube?
I do not.
So go over there and just check in with the comments.
Okay.
Um,
All righty.
got some people here. Let me see. Is it coming on live? Yeah, we're good.
Okay, good. It's been dicey in the past, huh?
Yeah, some reason it worked this time.
All right. Let me just get the pop out ye old chat so I
Hey,
can see
everybody. Thanks
that.
for hanging out, waiting for us.
Yeah. Hello, hello. You got to get all the screen management going on here. And of
All right.
course, tell us where you're from. Mark already says he's coming in from sunny England. So that's cool.
Test,
One of our
test.
SVS's favorite towns is Cornwall in England, right? That's our official town that we like in England.
Cornwall. That's what our ad team likes. Are we live yet?
We
Yeah.
are live. We're on YouTube.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. All right. I just thought I'd
Yeah.
be fashionably late.
Northumberland. Wow, where's that?
It's right next to Southumberland. Some of
At
the
Long
humor I
Island.
just step in with.
My lineage is from Long Island, from Bayshore, exactly, to be sure. My dad came from Bayshore, so
Let me hear your best Long Island accent then.
uh I don't have one. Martha's Vineyard. I don't know.
Long Island.
Yeah, Long Island.
Good
Long
cup
Island.
of coffee.
Tucson, that's
Cup of
pretty
Mango.
close.
coffee.
Globe,
Which,
Arizona.
Emily's
That
from
must
Georgia. I'm from Georgia.
Who's from Globe?
Georgia.
That must be Austin.
what happened to your
Yeah.
Tennessee accent, Lee? Did you lose
I
that when you moved to California?
I manually got rid of it from intentionally had to bail on it. When I got to California, it was the worst. You couldn't even go to a restaurant without people making fun of you, acting like you don't know what you're doing. I mean, it is not a good accent
Everything
for.
we've ever heard, Jake, is a fake accent from Lee.
Do you want me to go into my real, how I really talk when you
He's
guys aren't
doing a
around?
bit 24/7.
No, you can actually change. I
Y'all don't know what you're talking about. Y'all don't know nothing. I'll throw you out the window. A lot of R's. A lot of R's in
um
here.
we have a friend from Alabama, and she doesn't have too much of it. You can just hear a hint of a Southern accent. And she's a professional singer, she's done Broadway, all that stuff. And so, she really knows how to do accents and whatnot. Anyway, so the whole time we talked to her, every time we talked to her, it's just normal. But when she gets like really frustrated or angry or exasperated, that accent like comes right out. And every time she'll be telling a story about something. And like there was like this friend of hers that was pregnant and had her baby like on the way to the hospital. And she's in there talking, and she had that baby on the side of the road. We're like, oh. This is good stuff.
All
Well,
Anyway.
I
right, should
know
we get
to
going?
tell you the truth, just real quick, just to sum up, I never really had a thick accent. Although you guys might not know that I have a twin brother, and
Yeah.
he got a much thicker drawl than I ever had. But when I got to California, it just went away.
You
Just
think you're better
vanished.
than him, don't you?
Oh yeah,
Did you come out second or first?
it was number one, baby, the original. I when we were young, I used to drive him crazy by saying that he had to wait a couple of minutes before he could have his cake because it's my time.
All right, enough of the antics. It says we're in the practice session, Jake. Do we need to hit record or anything? No, because we're just streaming on YouTube, right? Okay, so we're good to go.
Good to go.
All right, everybody. Welcome to How to Fix Your Art. This is the September 24th edition. September 2024.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And
And
it's how to fix your art number 24.
number 24. Yeah. We have some good entries today, some really good stuff to get into. Before we do, we really wanted to thank everyone who participated in our SVS survey. Those surveys that we send out are really to help us understand what you guys need and what we can do to make your learning experience better at SVS. So we really do appreciate those of you who took the time. Really do appreciate that. Well, before we jump into this, we got a few announcements.
Make sure to share your screen.
Am I not sharing?
You were, but then you stopped.
How was I and then I stopped?
I don't know.
You got to give it to me.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I reclaimed host to
You
start the
probably
live stream.
yeah,
That's
you
probably what
probably did
happened.
that. Yeah, give it back, Jake.
Okay, there you go.
There we go. All right. So that's working. All right. So a few announcements to get into. The first thing is our next prompt in October is going to be saying goodbye. So make sure if you didn't participate in this one and you want to participate in the next one, jot that down or visit us at svslearn.com and you can check out the prompt there. We do have a few announcements. The next prompt is going to be due on October 1st. So make sure you get those in on time. And there's some directions on our website on exactly how to do it. We really like you to use your name in naming the image so that we can give you credit and we know who did it. We do have some big changes coming to SVS. Do either one of you guys want to talk about that? Give an
Yeah,
idea of what's going on there.
I was hoping Lee would.
I will do it. It's going to be what SVS is now, except for more.
I
Okay.
would say better, except for better.
No, the big thing we want to do is we love doing these events. We love interacting with you guys. We love presenting. This is more of a presentation per se, but like we want to open up SVS to be more interactive with the student, where the student's getting a little bit more feedback from the teacher, a lot more feedback. The teacher's getting a lot more time with the student, and there's just more of an exchange of ideas instead of just image submission and things like that. And so we really are making we're going all in on it. We're basically going to go bankrupt. But we're spending a lot of money. We're completely redoing our entire platform to be interactive. And so we had to start from the ground up, literally from the ground up. Like everything we were doing before got trashed, and what we built something brand new. And so it's that's going to take place late October, early November, but it's going to be an entirely different experience, which we are super excited about. I hope you guys are too.
Yeah. Definitely more live events. So that's coming.
Tons demos, presentations, student interviews, pro interviews, all kinds of stuff.
Yes. All right. Next.
One more thing. In addition to feedback on the classes. And so if you have taken our foundation series and ever been stuck, oh, I'm taking this perspective assignment, you don't know what to do next, we are going to have weekly live sessions where you can say, hey, I got stuck right here. What do I do? Or how do I take this further? That kind of thing. That's the big change.
Eric says, built something brand spanking new.
Brand spanking new. Now go draw something.
Hey, so last month, Laura Alderson did the June prompt, which was the food truck. There was a food truck like no other.
Yeah.
Right. And we gave her some feedback and told her what we would change and what we would do to make it better. And then she broke her arm. I think I got that right. Yeah. So she broke her arm. But this is how committed she is. Once her arm got to where she could work again, which wasn't too long, she redid it. I'm gonna unveil the
I
new
gotta
one.
see this.
You want to see this? Look at that.
Holy cow.
It's so much better.
Wow, that's such a big improvement.
That first one just looks like a sketch compared
Well,
to
she didn't she broke her arm midway through. Now the story's coming back. So she couldn't finish what she had.
Gotcha.
But then she took our feedback. And by the way, you guys, I got to give a lot of credit to Austin who puts this together for us and gives us really good information so we look good, and he doesn't get any credit usually, but he does so much work behind the scenes. So I just want to reach out and give him some credit on that. So thank you, Austin. And thank you, Laura, for resubmitting. That shows a lot of commitment and really, really, really nice piece.
I gotta say the poses in this are excellent too. Like that,
Yeah.
the little girl with the blue swimsuit on, that is just the way she's like holding herself is so good.
Yeah.
Laura says the first was just a rough.
Yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough.
And Austin says also we'll be sharing a lot more details about the new site in October. So stay tuned for that.
Can I ask Laura why she flipped the composition? If there's any reason by that, let us know in the chat.
Okay, while she's doing that, we're going to move on. And the September prompt is what we're doing today. Jeremy never thought his machine would actually work. Wait, let me read that again. Jeremy never thought his machine would actually work. It's alive. That should have been in there too. This prompt was given to us by Braden Hallett, who has, when we were doing Critique Arena, had won many times. So great prompt. And we're going to dive into the art. Okay. So
Let's
first
dive.
up is one by Anna. And I'm going to rearrange my screen so I can actually read these. What do you think, guys?
So I
Jake?
like it's interesting use of purple and how it's like sort of invading all of the other, no, I shouldn't say invading, infusing into all the other colors, which is really
Mhm.
interesting. So interesting work on, or nice work on the sort of the flat coloring, which is
Mhm.
fun. I the kids and the teacher, I get that it's like, you know, one sort of one unit compositionally, but they do kind of in that particular unit are kind of blending together a little bit. So I'm wondering if there's a way to separate them out a little bit better with value. Because right now the values are really like the pink on there
Mhm.
is the only thing really pulling themselves away from each other. So you just get these little spots. But I'd love it if like each kid had a little bit of a lighter or darker value compared to
Mhm.
the thing behind them.
I
This
see
is
what you're saying.
embarrassing. This question I'm going to ask is very embarrassing.
Uh-oh.
What's the prompt again?
Oh, Jeremy never thought his machine would actually work.
Right.
Gene would actually.
But
Okay.
I think the main idea is really working on this one.
The
I think
idea is
that,
working. Yes.
yeah, the idea is totally working. And like,
I
this is
did.
the thing that we've been harping on the most is are people starting off with a good idea? This one's starting off with a really good idea. It's simple. The kid created a vacuum to vacuum up all the toys, and he's happy because he basically thwarted all the other kids, and this is what my middle son would have done.
Yeah.
Something he would have done. He'd
Great
never
job on
finish
the
crying.
expressions.
Well, there's one thing that I think can up the drama here. I mean, that's the whole thing is like this person can obviously draw really well and color really well, and the technique is working flawlessly. I mean, it could be in like a highlights magazine or like a Cricut. I could almost see that kind of style
Uh-huh.
to go along with the text. But the one thing to me is we've got basically all the kids up front who are sort of stationary because they're having to defer to the adult, right? Hey, he took my toy. I can't get my toy back or whatever. So they're all sort of stationary. And it's just a great opportunity to have the kid in the background completely active on this machine, like sucking everything up. Instead,
Oh.
he's just kind of standing there too. So they're all just kind of standing there looking at each other instead of activating that space back there.
So what I would do back there is I'd have him, if you were going to change it, I like that he's done it and he's gloating. I think that's definitely one way to pull this off. But if we went with your idea, Lee, another option is have him sucking a toy out of another kid's hand that hasn't
Love
run
that.
up to the teacher yet to complain.
Yeah. Then it really sells it. I mean, because right now you got to do a little heavy lifting as a viewer to see what's going on.
Right.
But I just don't think there's enough
You're
of
saying
a
show that
payoff.
actual action.
Yeah,
Yeah.
normally I like the moment after an action has taken place. It's a really nice, satisfying thing after an
Hmm.
action has taken place. But in this case, it something needs to be dynamic, and all of it is sort of
Hmm.
after the fact, you know.
Yeah. It's a great, it's a problem with an interesting solution, and then the other kids are having emotions over it. So I say on the idea, good job.
Yep.
Really
Yep.
good job.
Solid.
All right.
And good technique too.
Next one we have is from Mark Robinson. This one's great too.
Hey, wait, can you
That's
go
awesome.
back one second? I just want to drive one thing home. This is a teachable moment. So you got to think about when you're doing your illustration, what is the emotion that somebody should have? I just thought of it because in the comment it says having them suck something out of another kid's hands would be really funny. Therefore, that's the reaction, right? You're laughing because of something. But right now, it's just telling you sort of what has happened, but there's
Hmm.
not an emotional connection to the piece. And so if you can say, hey, when somebody views this piece, they should have this reaction, fill in the blank,
Hmm.
it's going to up everybody's level. Just real quick,
And Eric
because
is
I'm
suggesting that the action be in the foreground and then the group of
that could
kids
happen too.
complaining is in the background. Yeah. I think
Yeah,
that could make it more fun for sure.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
just a teachable moment. I had to grab
Yeah.
onto it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Next one is again by Mark Robinson, and I think he nailed this one. This is
Definitely was listening to us say study Norman Rockwell.
yeah.
Like,
This is
This is
definitely
so good.
it's a parody of the Saturday Evening Post,
yeah.
but instead it's the Science Innovation magazine.
Hmm.
Groundbreaking news from the world of modern science.
That
And
is funny.
yeah,
That's good.
anti-gravity pants. So he's telling a story in the Norman Rockwell style of like continuing on. That's great.
I love anytime you can crop out something, but we can still sort of tell what the story is. I mean, look
Yeah.
how minimal that is, and it still
My only
drives it all home.
critique on this one is it's anti-gravity pants, and I kind of want to see some weird pants around those ankles or something, you
No,
know?
Got
there's
it.
little briefs next to the pants, so you know it's underwear.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it
All
should
right.
say underpants or I don't know.
So
But
that
anyway,
works.
that's
What's funny is I guess I'm mildly dyslexic, and I kept reading it as paints. I'm like, what did he paint? Did he like paint himself?
I mean, look how little he illustrated actually. I mean, it's well, what's is there is well done, but
Yeah.
it's not much to tell a good story. It doesn't have to be add more detail, all the time.
Yeah.
Really good, Mark.
Well done.
Good job.
All right.
You did the
Um,
thing.
moving, are we ready to move on?
Move on.
Okay, here's
But
Christian Gibson.
Ooh, this is cool.
that is great. I love
Yeah.
this palette.
Yeah. Now, for me, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong on this, if he's reanimating his wife, I kind of want to see her like right now. It looks like because she's in the fluid, maybe she's just kind of floating because she's attached. I kind of want to see her doing something like taking a more of an emotional, I realize she's a
Like
skeleton,
their
but like,
hands are touching
yeah,
on
like
both
hand
sides of the
up to the
glass.
glass or something. Yeah, like because I can't tell if if the machine's actually working. And the prompt says he couldn't believe it actually worked, but it looks like
It's just starting. He's just
it's
starting it.
yeah.
Oh man, there's so many things to parse out in this. I love all the little details. Is he sucking the life out of like a
A
star?
starfish. Oh, a star maybe.
Maybe it's like a magic star or something.
Mm.
Besides that, I think the simplest, if I were the editor, I got this, I'd be like, oh, let's just have their hands touching. So it does look like it's working and she's coming. Maybe the hand has flesh on it,
Yeah.
so you can see she's starting to regenerate. The only other thing I would say is compositionally, we've got a lot of lines leading us off the left side of the page, and you should probably put in something to keep us back into the composition to drive us back in there, or some sort of object to like wall us off on that
You're talking
side.
on like this big thing that's taking us out here.
Yeah, there's three tubes
Would you like
all
to see it like wrapping around and coming back in or
wrap it
something?
around, or just have like another piece of machinery that's like
It's pointing back in.
cropped right on the edge there in the
Hmm.
foreground or something. Get what I'm saying?
That's pretty nitpicky. I agree with you, but if we're critiquing down to that, we've always said here on how to fix your art, that means you did a pretty good job
Yep.
if we're down to nitpicking
Yeah,
stuff.
but
So
we gotta,
we still got to do
obviously
it.
this is a little bit higher caliber
We're
artwork.
obligated to speak our minds, right?
Yeah.
There's no holding back. All right. Next, great job, Christian. Next is Joshua,
Can we go
the
back
big
1 second?
shrink.
There's another teachable moment. I'm just going to do that every time. Can I
Just
just
do that
redo
every
it?
time so that we get a preview of the next one.
Teachable moments. A lot of people struggle with line work and how to integrate it into an illustration. And you'll notice this one overall is sort of like this mid palette color tone. And then the line value is only about a value and a half darker than that gray of the wall or whatever, maybe a little bit darker, but it is nowhere close to black. And so if you're struggling with line work and how to make that integrate with your work, just toning it back and even toning the line to be a color that's close to the local color around
Mhm.
you is a way to be subtle with your line work and still have the line work do the heavy lifting.
Cool.
Exactly.
So we have a kind of a, is this a philosophical thing from uh Alessandra? She says, but does the machine actually work? I don't think the prompt indicates that it does. So the prompt is Jeremy never thought his machine would actually work. And you're right. Technically, you're right. I think most people would interpret that it did. So on a technicality, are you saying we should do a prompt where the machine doesn't work? Right?
Either way.
Well, but it wouldn't it, well, I guess you could do something fun where it's not working. He couldn't believe that it actually worked. Like I knew it wouldn't work. Something ironic. Anyway, I think most people interpreted that it did work. All right, next one is from Joshua, the big shrink.
This is awesome. This is so pro looking. If I saw this in like on the shelf at Barnes and Noble or something in the kids graphic novel section,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be picking it up and be like, "Oh, what's this about?"
Mm-hmm. I'd like to see an animated show like this, almost like a not Adventure Time. What's it's the one that took place in Portland that had the
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
no, the animation took place in Portland with the kids.
Yeah. The Dexter's Laboratory.
No, just forget it.
Honey, I Didn't Shrink the Kids.
Grunkle Stan. Somebody will
Oh,
know.
Gravity Falls.
Gravity Falls. There we go.
Mm.
I love the name, The Big Shrink.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
So good. The Big Shrink. So, what is down at the bottom there? Is his parents?
Yeah, he shrunk his parents.
That's good.
Yeah. And he's also, we know that he does a lot of science stuff because he won an award, first place in the science fair.
I like that you can't like his emotion is sort of like two or three emotions together, which is amazing.
Yeah.
He's sort of happy about it, but kind of freaked out at the same time. Is that what you
Yeah,
guys are?
I'm worried.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, I love
That's
also,
complicated.
you know what's really nice is the coloring on it. Look at that little like blue rim light in the
Mm-hmm.
hair and on the ears and chin and everything. It's really good.
Done really
Yeah.
well.
And then the perspective too, those little like cylinders sort of on the two little posts. That's the example I give in my perspective one class where I'm like, okay, pretend like you're flipping a quarter and like the horizon line, you're just going to see the side of the quarter and you see the underside as it goes over and the
Mm-hmm.
top side as it goes down. Pretty cool. I mean, perfect.
There's a question in the chat. What are the two things on his head? And those are
Goggles.
Like
goggles,
welding
although they
goggles or
could
something.
be interpreted as like wheels, like mini tires, with the kind of texture they have on them.
Should they
Well,
have
and
like
because
the
the
little
hair comes
tab or something?
through, you don't see the tat, you don't see the connection.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think it's fine.
Okay. For the next one, we're going to wait for Lee to make sure he's done with this one.
No, I wait until you go to the next one and then I
Mm-mm.
send you back.
You
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
All
ratify it.
right. No more teachable moments.
All right.
Wait, go back
And
really quick. I have a teachable moment.
I don't think so.
Just
This one's by Mandy Forte.
this is
And
cool.
yeah, it's cool. So I guess what the idea is that you got the contraption that the boy's wearing, and he can translate what the squirrel's saying, what the animals are saying. So, and then the little girl writes it down. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that what's going on there?
Yep.
My thing on this one is I would both children are the same size. You have this group. I call this kind of illustration a tale of two cities kind of a thing where um they're equal value, equal importance, and so your eye bounces back and forth, which is unfortunately that's a really boring eye movement. So good idea, and that's the most important thing is getting a good idea. But then the next thing is we talk about um composition and so the characters are nice but I think what we need to do is either bring the size of the kid up so we're much closer, the camera's much closer to the kid here,
Yeah.
the boy, and have him in the foreground and then have her probably about that same size. So we got all this space that we can enlarge the tree and the boy and bring him
Yeah.
closer.
I got issues with that tree not being finished at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can kind of get away with the background not being finished because it sort of feels like a atmosphere. But I think if you just selected the tree from the middle of that trunk and the boy and everything and expanded it, 125 percent or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and brought that tree down so it's cropped, I think you're all set.
Mm-hmm. Let me say something that I really appreciate about this one, and I really want to draw attention to is look at how the little boy's foot is up on the branch, his right foot,
Hmm.
and left one dangling down. That's how you climb out on a limb.
Pro move.
It's a
Yeah.
pro move to keep your balance and to keep yourself from rotating. You get one foot up there like that. So this is a person who Mandy's probably climbed a branch or else she got really good reference. Um, so yeah, props
Yeah.
on that.
And I mean, this is coming from Will Terry, who climbs a tree every day,
That's right.
part of his workout.
Hey, I have a memory and I have a childhood.
I can't
We
believe
had
you can remember that far
we had a
back.
weeping willow. We had a weeping willow in our backyard, and that was a weeping willow is a tree climbing tree.
Yeah. We had a tree in my front yard that had, like, I got to the point, I climbed it so many times that I got the point where I knew every little, like, notch that I needed to step
Uh-huh.
on, handhold, and I could just scurry right up that tree, no problem.
Hey, one other pro move I'll add here, teachable moment, is this is sort of the technique of connecting two spots to sort of make a full page without having to figure out all the stuff that's in the middle.
Uh-huh.
So it's I seldom use this move, but I always want to. I actually have a thumbnail of this design
Mm-hmm.
as my options. Like I have a bunch of templates basically, like what kind of
Mhm.
layout do I want for children's book? And this is a good one because it really does sell the whole thing as a page, but you don't have to draw all the stuff in the middle. It's a great solution.
Right.
Yeah, good one.
I'll do that
All
more.
righty. The next one is by Suniva. And we got a woodland forest with
This is
woodland
cool.
creatures. So you've already got my attention.
Woodland Will. We don't call him Woodland Will for nothing.
That's true.
Proud badge of honor.
Proud Badger of Honor. What'd you say? Be here all week.
A proud badger. I can't bear any more of these, Lee.
Oh no.
That's stupid.
All right. Will be
This
a
is
deer
good.
and set us up.
Set us
What
up.
should we be
Yeah,
looking
be
at
a
here?
deer. Did you say be a deer?
Yeah.
I was just there. I was just there.
Yeah. Quit beating around the bush. Let's do this.
Wow.
Make
Okay.
like a
That's enough.
tree and critique this, Lee.
Yeah.
Well, it is good. It is good. I'm just first taken with the palette, and then the I don't know if you'd call it perspective or composition, or it's sort of a combination, but one technique that is really good about this is people look where other people are looking. If four people are in the road and everybody's looking up, you're going to look up naturally. And so if
Oh,
everybody's looking towards a character, you're naturally going to look at that character. So it's almost an
right.
implied perspective and composition, and it's done really well. They used to do it in the Renaissance quite a bit,
Yeah.
and it's effective.
Yeah. Now I'm going to go out. I'm going to put myself out there and say I don't fully understand the concept on this one. And
Like, what's the machine doing?
I'm probably the only one who doesn't understand it. Yeah.
Will, you don't understand. With the woodland creatures,
I think what we're looking at here is she can read, or he can read the what they're all thinking.
I don't think that comes across as much. I almost thought because all the animals are coming in and they would not normally be in that proximity to each other, that the machine is calling them.
I think you're right. I think it's calling him in. But I
Oh, that
can't
makes
tell if
sense.
she's
But
feeding
what's the
in
ticket? What's the
she's
ticket
feeding
say?
in hoof prints, or hoof prints are coming out. They got to be coming out.
Oh,
They're
I see. I
they're
see.
like
But
the
it
footprints of the
no,
animals.
but I understand your confusion there because she's looking at it like she doesn't know what came out and she's having to look at it. So you
Yeah.
wouldn't do that with for feeding something in.
Yeah.
So tell us here, whose is this?
It's
And
Suniva's.
can you tell? I don't know if she's here, but I'd love to know because that moment really does need to be defined of what is happening
Mhm.
with that machine. Is it calling? Is it? I just don't know. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that it's calling.
Really fun drawing, and like you said, Lee, the palette really grabbed me too. I think it's because we have this really strong complementary color scheme, and it just this you see the same reds repeating throughout, the same greens and reddish browns, and it's just it all really works color wise.
If the machine is calling the wild, I think her attention would be towards the environment around her. I don't
Uh-huh.
think she'd be looking at that while you're calling because the natural thing, if you have a device that calls anything, you turn it on and you're going to start looking around, right? If I had a machine that attracted butterflies, I'd turn it
Right.
on. I'd be like, okay, is there any butterflies coming?
Well, and
So
if we're workshopping the idea, and if you are trying to call in animals, what I want is a reason that you're calling in animals. You're either calling them in to capture them, so you have a cage and they're walking in like zombies. You're calling them in to pet them, so you've already got some that you're petting. Maybe the other ones, maybe they are walking in like zombies, and but you get to pet them. So that's like the payoff is normally animals won't come to me. I make a machine. Now they come and I get to pet them and they're hypnotized. So I'm not going to get bit. There's
there
got
could
to
be like
be,
there could be like a hunting competition and she's saving them in some way
she's
from
got a
the
gun and
hunting
she's going to
It's not
shoot
a
them
competition.
she,
all.
it's
No.
Jeremy.
Huh?
It's Jeremy. It's
No,
not a
it's
Oh,
she.
Suniva. It's
oh,
Suniva.
I thought it was a girl for some reason.
No,
It's,
Jeremy never thought his machine would actually work.
Hey, I'm not assuming
That's
but
Jeremy
the
it's
is.
by
problem.
Suniva.
Yeah, cinema, a girl can draw a guy.
Well,
But
he
I
was,
thought it was a girl in the picture. Looks a little
oh,
bit feminine for some
Guys
reason.
can wear pink shirts.
right.
I'm just saying.
I thought you were
You guys are
talking
so
about the
dumb.
artist.
No, no,
No,
no.
Will's totally lost.
Okay.
So, so yeah, we just in the idea, it has to be really clear. That's the most important thing. So this one is great on so many levels. Look at the
It's close.
composition of where look at how Jeremy is silhouetting against the bush in back. You have the red on the green, everything pops, everything is
Yeah,
legible, but we got to get that idea functioning first before we get going. And
got it.
one of the tips that we've given you guys in the past is if you have an idea, try to sketch it out and present it to family members and stuff, and don't accept family members just going, "Oh, I love it. Tell me why you love it." Like don't beat them up, but like, like really try to gauge their natural reaction. And if they don't understand what's going on, your job's not finished on the idea. But it's a lot of work to put in to get to this stage to find out that your idea is not working.
Anyway,
If I
I
can,
think
if
cinema can just listen to this entire conversation and kind of see what the problems are.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
I meant to draw a boy, but there's some, like the hair and the hat color make it look like a girl. I meant to do this with the machine, but they understood it this way.
right.
So
Yeah.
you're getting some honest feedback here.
I'd like to share. Just reminds me when I was in grad school, we had to come up with a video game, and my video game was Deer Hunter Hunter. And so you're a deer and you're hunting the hunter. I'm gonna see if I can find it. I'll show you because it reminds me of this
Hmm.
palette and this composition. It's
Deer Hunter
fun.
All
Hunter.
right, we're
Deer
moving
Hunter
on
Hunter.
to our next artist, who is Any. And we got this machine that it looks to me like it's grabbing solar power and converting it into storm. Is that what you guys are getting?
Looks like that to me. Um, this I love the consistency going on here with this artist. They I don't think they've missed a how to fix your art
Mm-hmm.
session since they started. And to see the growth, remember early on, we are just like, you have such a good style and line work and character designs, but we can't parse out characters from the backgrounds. Like it's very cluttered and it's
Mm-hmm.
very busy. And to see them evolve over and over to this level that they're at, this is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like essentially, this is a machine that's sucking up stormy weather and giving us
That's
summer
cool.
weather, sunshine weather. And
Yeah,
it's
so
very
so it was
clear.
clarified in the comments. So and he's saying it's so why I can't tell which way it's going from this. Like I thought it was sucking the sun and getting and turning into a storm.
I would, well, the character's looking at the sun and smiling, so maybe, yeah, that's a good point. Like, how do you do, I guess this is like a Rorschach test where if you're an optimist, you see one thing. If you're a pessimist, you see the other thing,
Yeah.
which is kind of fun. That's cool.
But is there a way to make that
Oh, there's
definite?
arrows on it. Look, they did put subtle arrows on the machine that
Oh yeah,
show.
yeah.
Uh,
Nice.
I don't think that solves it.
Doesn't quite, but it does.
You
At
don't
least
want
they're
you don't want your
cognizant
viewer
of
to
it.
have to go in so far that they have to decipher. Um, it needs to be legible really quickly.
I will say though, being in Arizona the last 5 years, I would like the reverse of this machine.
Yeah.
I would like a little of this sunshine to be turned into stormy weather. So really
Yeah.
no
Like
notes
rain.
on this, huh?
Yeah. Kind of a fun idea. All right, moving on. We're gonna do one from Ruth, and this is Jeremy made a spaceship. It looks like brought the dog along, and it worked. They're out in outer space. They've left Earth, and they're traveling through space. And oh, look, there's a monster or some kind of an alien eating the spaceship.
Um, honestly, don't think you need that monster there. Like
Yeah,
just the fact that a kid made like a Jimmy Neutron kid made a spaceship that could leave Earth. That's a lot of fun. And have the dog freaking
it's
out and like
It's
floating.
perfect.
yeah.
Yeah.
The story really is the emotions between the kid and the dog, but the alien is telling a whole different story, and yeah, it's better to I think it's better to simplify and stick with your main story. I think compositionally you could make the path of the spaceship a little more interesting with some S curves. Right now you've got this straight, pretty much there's a slight S curve. But what if you brought that trajectory out over here and then back over here and then up to where we are? It would actually incorporate more of the space. You have all this real estate down here that's kind of blank.
Hmm.
So compositionally, I think that would make it stronger.
Yep.
I love the line work and everything that's inside the spaceship is done really well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And they even I like the little it's like a an Apollo program like Easter egg in that it's orange juice in there and the astronauts drink
Drink
Tang. Like
Tang.
that's where we got Tang from.
Mm-hmm.
It's from
Yeah.
the Apollo program. So it's a really nice deep cut
That's where we got diabetes from.
from Tang.
The whole
That's maybe where you got it.
sugar drink industry.
That's true, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Never turning back.
Anything else on this one?
Add some clouds to Earth, and I think we're good to go.
Why would you do that?
It's um, just make it.
Because there's always clouds.
There's always
More,
clouds.
more
Good.
earthy.
It's like you put the oceans, you put the land, and then you stopped at the clouds.
It's never clear all the way around the earth. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
It's always cloudy
I mean,
somewhere.
if you look at any sort of photo of the Earth, it's blue, brown, and white.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
All right. Ben is next. And
this is
Ben has
good.
invented a machine. I think that you feed in your drawings and it 3D prints or prints in live form the thing you drew, right?
Whoa.
That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool
Yeah.
idea. My thing that I would do differently on this one is I would have him feeding that drawing in right side up so we can see it better. So right away, and I'd have him like feeding it in and freaking out that it's coming out the other end at the same time. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, you could even do like right now, this is a fine reaction, like him like freaking out and like slowly crawling backwards away. But I do like that sort of caught in the act, like you're frozen as you're doing something, just like,
Mm-hmm.
that might be cool.
Yeah,
Again, we're at nitpicky stage now because
we are because it's a good idea.
this is such a good idea.
And someone, Azara said, um, that maybe show the drawing bigger. I agree. I
Yeah,
think you got to hit people over the head with your idea. It's
you
got to be
gotta.
as clear as possible and as legible as possible. And so you you can modify the size of the machine. Like what I would probably do is make this line come back even further and give myself a bigger slot right here to put a bigger piece of paper right here
Yeah.
with the drawing easily legible and him like feeding it in but freaking out at the same time. Yeah. I think that's it's a really fun idea. You guys came up with some really good ideas. I would say when I looked at these for the first time, I was like, "Oh, they're getting it. They're
Mhm.
really doing really good ideas
Yeah.
Yeah.
in as a group, really good ideas." So
Yeah, about
awesome.
4 months ago, everybody started leveling up with the ideas, and now the artwork is leveling up too, and
Yeah.
it's inspiring to see.
When you have a good idea, it's easier to draw. It's more fun to draw. It's more fun to paint because you know it's a fun gag, and it turns out better all the way around. It starts with that really good idea, that really good story. And this one is by Karen.
Hey, am I
And
sharing, or
what's that?
am I sharing, or you still have the screen?
I still have the screen.
It's Will, were you wanting to share something, Lee?
Oh yeah, I found my Deer Hunter.
Oh yeah, here you go.
Got to see it.
Is it sharing?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so this assignment was you had 3 days to come up with a video game, have a cover, and then do some play stuff. So this is not like a totally finished illustration. I just cut, it's a quick sketch. But the idea, this would be the cover, Deer Hunter. And then here's a gameplay. I think pretty nice. See the little big deer. And then here's a action shot of him kind of
Was that
going
their
around.
assignment? Was Deer Hunter Hunter?
No. The assignment was you just have to come up with a game and
Oh,
do a couple of playable shots and a cover. And you had 3 days. Like that's
so
from
that was
start
your
to
idea.
finished illustration. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, that's why I miss school is doing stuff like this. Anyways, you can see the palette. It's pretty similar. I mean, that's
This is
about the size it
awesome.
was meant to be
I can
seen
see it
What?
as.
being a first person shooter
Yeah.
It'd be
or
What's
a
fun.
that?
first deer shooter.
Zoom in on the bottom one.
That's the
Oh,
deer.
so he's like just kind of walking through the environment.
Yeah, what the environment would sort of look like, and like as he's trying to find the hunters.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Anyway, art school. I miss it.
All right. I'm stealing it back. Okay, so we've got our next image from Karen, and we have about 13 minutes left when we've got 5 to get through. So we're doing pretty good. And so this one's a fun idea too, right? You
Hmm.
reanimate or you bring alive your stuffed animals. I think it's a great idea. I actually did a little draw over on this one, just because I thought that it could be a little bit more clear. I think what's happening is, in my estimation, that I think it would be more funny or more understandable if the animals were clearly still stuffed animals that were made alive. And I don't really understand what this monster thing is doing in here. So I thought you could stick with that idea and keep it really simple by, you know, having the teddy bear coming out, like he's going in right here and it's making him down here. I don't know,
Mm.
you know, and I made the eyes a little more zombie like so that they're just kind of alive, but they don't really have personalities or something. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I I don't quite agree with the bear like having the head up there and the body down there. Like I
It's
you
too
know,
fast of a
too
conversion.
fast.
Okay.
But um I do agree with I don't get where that monster is coming from. There's no, if he was holding a series of I don't think you need the monster like that.
That's exactly what I
Yeah,
was
you just
thinking
don't need the
too.
monster.
The stuffed animals coming alive is good enough
Maybe just the
itself.
2 legs coming down from the teddy bear hovering.
Maybe.
What do you
I don't even
think of
think you
that?
need that. I think you need like the little sister in the room who's completely freaked out.
Oh,
Yeah.
The secondary reaction from
that'd be
somebody
fun.
else.
Do you know what would be cool? So then you take one of the living stuffed animals and you run it through the machine again and see what you get. An even
You get a
weirder.
stuffed animal.
Lee, someone in the
Uh,
chat said that someone has made a deer hunting game like
yeah,
that.
I saw that. I responded there. I was like, it's impossible. I mean, out of all the ideas, I would never think that would have been made. And of course it's been made. Everything you
Well,
think
now you
of.
got to make deer hunter, deer hunter,
It was
deer
Deer hunter,
hunter.
someone,
hunter,
it,
hunter.
it was some computer science major that was visiting your campus and saw your project up on the wall.
Yeah.
This was 2012, so maybe somebody took it and ran with it. I don't know when it came out.
Yeah, it's possible.
All right. Next one
Next
is
one.
by Celeste. And we got this machine here that made a cyber cat. So that's
That's it.
pretty
That's
cool.
cool. Lots
Yeah.
of little details to look at. Everything's sort of supporting.
The only thing though is almost kind of like that first one that we saw with the kid who vacuumed up the toys. Their reaction is the most basic, and like this person can draw really well. The palette's really nice, the paintings are really nice, and so like think about a cat. A cat comes out, you're gonna want to like, would he have a ball that he's throwing the cat? Would the cat be swatting a mouse or some kind of little feather toy or something? But
Would
like
the
they're
real
just
cat be freaking out in the background? Like,
that's good. Yeah. I mean, it's
you
just
know,
almost like they're looking at each other and which is a starting point. But I think it would be more fun if the cat comes out and now he's got why did he make the cat? Is it a friend to play with? Is
right.
it a companion? And so just lean into that emotional
Is there
connection.
is there a mouse hole or mouse holes. I know this is a future. This looks like a spaceship or something, but like, yeah, you gotta. There's neat, and that's the thing to take the idea further is why. So you're gonna make this machine. That makes a cat. What benefit do you get as a person that we can clearly see?
There needs to be like his cat's dead floating through space out the window and
So
it's
you made a
passed
cat,
on. This is the
Now we're going,
replacement.
or
we're going dark.
there's an infestation of mice. Um,
Yeah, mice on the ship, on the
there's
spaceship. That's
there's
good.
something there's some need. We don't, as humans, we don't do things without having a need usually, right? So you got to tell the complete story.
Yeah.
And fun, really good drawing. You're gonna get there on this
And
one, Celeste.
by
You're
the
gonna,
way, that's the stuff that you share on the forum. That's the stuff that we want you guys sharing in the new model of SVS, where it's just an exchange. Hey, what do you think of this? Or like, here's what you do. If you're wondering how to go about this contest, is you submit three different, same concept, but three different takes on that concept. And then you will get people talking. If you just do one, you're not going to get the feedback. But I love seeing multiple options, like three sketches. Here's them standing there like this. Here's the cat jumping up in his arms, and here's the cat, playing with some other thing and freaking out the other cat, or chasing the real cat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you'll start to get that gets the dialogue going, because then it's not, oh, I like it or I don't like it. It's, hey, this, option B is working the best. Let's talk about why.
Yeah. I want to see why this cat is better than a real cat. I
Right.
want to see the relationship between this cat and a real cat. I
I
want to
think
see, this
I,
cat doing things that a normal cat can't do. So,
well, you guys remember the prestige, right? This is an illustration that's missing the prestige. So the prestige is it's the three parts of a magic trick. Number one, you have the pledge. That's where you show something ordinary.
mhm,
And then number two is you have the turn, and that's where you do something extraordinary with the ordinary thing.
mhm,
But that's not the true magic trick. Anybody can make, a little bird disappear from a cage, right? The prestige is the third part of it, and that's bringing it back, and that's when everybody's astonished, right?
mhm,
So I think the same thing applies to illustration. You have the pledge, like here is the story of a boy and his cat. You have the turn. Oh, that he built the cat. That's interesting. That's cool that he built the cat from his own, mind and work. But then the prestige is why did he build the cat?
mhm. Right. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Next one from Victoria. And this one I did struggle with trying to figure out exactly what the machine is doing. Um, we got a kind of a car cutaway with a contraption that reaches up and has a string to the fruit in the tree. Then we have a bushel basket here where it looks like it might have collected some of that fruit. But then we also have these wires coming back to a box and then a trike that the wires are hooked to.
It's a little convoluted, isn't it?
I'm not getting it.
Well, there's three equal sort of events happening if you kind of look at the real estate on how much each one of these things takes up. And so my eye just keeps bouncing between the three, but I don't know sort of what's going on with any of the three. So that's the only snag.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
It's a
our
shame because it's such a, rich illustration.
yeah, really good contrast, really fun colors. I think that if it's harvesting, if it's a unique way to harvest, it's got to be able to do something that we've never seen before. So it's harvesting and it's clear that it's harvesting. If it's not harvesting and if it's I just don't know.
Yeah.
See now, so this is where you can, again, another teachable moment where maybe too much illustration is actually happening. So I think, like they're talking about in the text, that the little fox in the lower right is powering this thing. There's wires going to this little converter. The converter wires are going to the car,
Mm,
and it's picking. And then the foreman over there, raccoon, is like, oh, success. So that's the moment. But you've got three little equal moments happening, almost like three little illustrations. If you move that, like the fox should be on that machine pedaling, like the car has a bicycle kind of gear
on the
attached to it,
machine.
and he's,
Yeah.
yeah, just like a stationary bike, like at a gym. on the machine. Now the machine, and we move the machine to the foreground. So now you can illustrate that whole thing without having to draw so small. And then the foreman can be standing right there next to him. So all the events in there can be grouped together, and then they're pulling down like maybe a big basket of fruit. So we know the thing is working, and it's just an easier sell that way. Instead, you made all the characters really small, which is actually harder to illustrate because each thing is just so tiny.
Right. I think too, there's you guys remember Rube Goldberg, like the contraptions
Oh yeah,
where,
mousetrap
you,
game kind of,
yeah, yeah.
dude.
And this is like almost there. Like if you really want to do uh if you want to go that route, lean into it hard. And it's like the fox pedals this thing which pops a balloon, which scares the mouse, which
Mhm.
runs into the mouse trap, which drops the bowling ball and starts the fire and all that stuff. That's fun. That then you're like, it's a game to figure out how the thing actually works.
Right.
This right here is not a game. This is
The
tedious.
hard the hard thing about doing the Rube Goldberg thing is everything has to work. So a little critique on the Fox on the bike, which is a great idea to have the Fox powering the contraption,
Yeah.
is the wheel that he's pedaling, that front wheel has to be off the ground
Right.
and hooked to a machine, some sort of a generator where we can see,
Right.
oh, okay, but where it's from the angle that we're seeing, it's on the ground, and the thing that's the wheel's stuck in, it would probably prevent the wheel from turning. And this is the hard thing as an illustrator, you guys. Like, I mean, Victoria bit off a pretty big project here, and
Yeah.
it's always tough when you work this hard and you don't get the results you're hoping for. But just remember that, and a takeaway from this is every little gag that you do, and I'm talking about like the fox and then the car contraption, it all has to be easily drawn to where you go, oh, that would work. You can understand how it works.
Yeah.
You can't leave it to the imagination of the person, because each one of these things has to be easily recognized of what kind of machine it is,
Right.
how it's working, and then you move on. You're like, okay, so he powers that, this is that, oh, and then that does that, and then it swings down and it goes in the bushel basket. And in order to show that, if that's like a like a fishing rod that goes up and grabs a fruit and it swings back into the bushel basket, if that works, you kind of have to show that swinging and dropping in. It's almost like you need more fishing lines, more fishing rods, where one's in one position, one's in another swinging back, one's dropping fruit in, so that you
Mhm.
can easily follow that progression, because it's just a huge leap to see it
Right.
in its state right now. Yeah.
Yeah. When you're ever in a position like this, just go for the low hanging fruit.
God.
Okay, next
Bad.
one.
Next.
Bad.
Actually,
Okay.
check the time.
This is our
Gotta wrap it
last
up.
one.
259.
This is our last one from uh art. I can't read it because my computer screen is so light. Aubin. And this one's great. It's a time
Yeah.
machine, right? It worked. He got teleported back
Does not
to
believe it.
prehistoric times.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So did the cat. My only critique on this is how you drew the kid. I would draw the kid a little less adult-like.
Well, and
Mm,
stepping out too. I mean, you got to think if you make a time machine and it gets transported and you all of a sudden it stops and you're like, okay, is this work? You're going to open it with your hand and just barely peek out. Like
Yeah,
you're not just going to like
I
step
agree.
out into that. So act that out a little bit. One thing that could actually up the storytelling too a little bit is if the machine was broken and they're basically stuck there, there's going to be no way to get back. So that's just another little storytelling thing. But the machine is drawn really well. We know exactly what's happening. So a lot of good stuff happening here.
Yeah, really good.
I just want some contrast on those, a little more on those dinosaurs. So you got like blue dinosaurs on a blue background and a warm dinosaur on a warm background.
Well,
Mhm.
it'd be interesting if one of the dinosaurs had noticed him too.
Yeah.
That's a scarier
But
moment, right? You land in that time period and somebody knows you're
right.
there. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Like replace that dragonfly with a raptor head. It's like,
Perfect.
You know,
oh,
you could do the classic little dinosaur, baby dinosaur that's noticed him, that's telling on him, that's telling the bigger ones, you
Oh,
know.
that's good.
yeah,
That's a Will Terry illustration right there.
right.
I would make this mountain a little bit like a really muted orange so that the blue would pop against it and be
Hmm.
you know,
It's not bad.
the opposite
Yeah.
on the color. All right, great job, you guys. Overall, some really, really good ones. Gonna move to the future prompt, which is in November. So be thinking about this one. Sure, it looked disgusting, but it was delicious. And with that, we are closing a chapter on another how to fix your art.
You guys are stepping up to the plate and
Yay.
it's
Yeah,
showing. The artwork is good. The stories are good. It's really fun to see this evolution of what you're doing.
it really
Yeah.
is.
You guys
So
are
give
solid.
yourselves a hand of applause. Great session, you
One
guys,
hand clapping.
and can't wait for the announcements next October. Big changes coming.
Oh, huge changes.
Gonna be good.